the unbeaten Marrero. You're faster, you're slicker. Make them miss, make them pay. And for Cuellar, get close, dig to the body.
Scheduled for 12.
Get your instructions in the wrestling room. Expect you to box clean, obey my commands. Touch gloves now, go back to your corner, we'll get going.
Dick Podkosdy, the referee, seen him a few times before in some of the fight cards we've had in upstate New York. Round number 1 underway between Marrero and Cuellar. Marrero coming in, touching him with a jab to the belt line. See Marrero with that wide base and stance, showing off a bit of hand speed there and some defensive prowess as well, able to step back, get out of the way and use those legs.
Half of Marrero's fights have been in the Dominican Republic, half have been in Florida. Most of the fights for Cuellar in Argentina. This is his first fight in the U.S. I don't know if this is a scary sign or an omen, but Cuellar won a majority decision. That means he was close versus a 27-32-7 fighter only 4 fights ago. Maybe that means something. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we're going to find out. Only loss for Cuellar was by knockout. But that loss, I'm not making any excuse for Cuellar. I think Marrero should win this fight, and maybe even dominate. But Cuellar, that loss was at his lowest weight of his career, 122, Joe. Most of his other fights were at featherweight, 126 pounds. So I'm just wondering if he was out of his weight class, if he was weak for that fight. We're going to find out maybe. Marrero's a southpaw. They're both southpaws. Nobody's got the edge. They're looking in the mirror. Usually a southpaw has an edge when he's going in there with an orthodox fighter. No edge here. Marrero, maybe his edge is with his lead punch, the right hand. He's naturally a righty. His dominant hand is his lead hand.
Short right by Marrero. Cuellar comes charging in behind that jab. Cuellar and Marrero coming to the end of round number 1 on what should be a good way to finish up the season of Friday night fights with the IBF Junior lightweight title bout still to come. And it all comes full circle for Arash Usmani, the challenger who opened up Friday night fights back in January against Rances Bartholomew and by all accounts was robbed in the fight. Now here he is at the end of the season getting an opportunity to fight for the belt against Argenis Mendez.
Yeah, he should be undefeated is what you're saying, and I agree with you 100%. But I'm excited about this fight. And there's 2 things that come to me in my mind. There's one that it's a good matchup, good talent, and there's intrigue here. But the intrigue comes partly what I just said, the talent. As you see, one of the fighters right there, the world champion Mendez. But the other part of the intrigue for me and for the listeners out there, I think, is that Bill Krakenberger, who's one of the best-known handicappers in sports in the country, just informed me that Mendez is a 5-1 Vegas. Las Vegas has Mendez as a 5-1 favorite in Las Vegas. I think Vegas got it wrong.
Really?
Okay, all you people out there, we're going to find out. Is Teddy right or is Vegas right? I don't know. I don't know if I'm taking on too big a giant, but I think Vegas has it way wrong. I don't see that line 5-1. I see it as an even fight. So I'm really, really interested to see how it plays out. Is Vegas right? You know, they know something I don't know. I'm not a handicapper. I'm a boxing trainer. I think Usmani's got a damn good chance to win this fight.
We'll see if he pulls off the upset in our main event for the world title coming up later tonight. Good start to round number 2 here between Cuellar and the undefeated Marrero. Up that time, Marrero caught him with a right hand after missing wildly with the left as they swing toe-to-toe in the center of the ring. Good action to start off tonight.
Again, the only loss for Cuellar by knockout, and he was low, really low in his weight. Maybe at this higher weight, maybe Marrero has more than he bargained for. We'll find out. Marrero was quoted as saying he's never been cut. I will never be cut. I'm the Matrix. What happens to me, in my mind, I want to ask the question, what happens if he does get cut? With an attitude like that, wow. If he ever did get cut, does he fall apart? Marrero should have confidence with his southpaw. You know, I talked early on, they're looking in the mirror. Nobody has an edge. Maybe Marrero has an edge. 2 fights ago, he knocked out a southpaw. That should be good for him mentally going into this fight.
See, Cuellar just charging straight to the inside. Both guys opening up and available there as they're swinging wide. Already a little bit of swelling under the right eye of the unbeaten Claudio Marrero.
Well, Marrero fights like a guy, I'm going to get you, you're going to get me. And, you know, his record indicates that because of his one loss, he did let the other guy get him.
Now he's showing a little bolo and then landing that left hand. Pretty entertaining stuff here between Cuellar and Marrero early on. Stay with us, more to come. ESPN Friday Night Fights is presented by Corona Extra, proud sponsor of Friday Night Fights, and as always encourages you to relax responsibly. And in part by Mobil 1 Extended Performance Synthetic Motor Oil. Keep your engine running like new. Close by to this Turning Stone Resort Casino is the Boxing Hall of Fame. It'll be home to Teddy's Fight Plan, home to so much great memorabilia, including that of the youngest heavyweight champion, Iron Mike Tyson, inducted into the Hall of Fame here in upstate New York, where he started his career, learned how to box because of the guy sitting to my right, Teddy Atlas, his trainer at Customato's Catskill Gym, just about 2 hours away from where we are in Verona, just before we went on the air tonight. Iron Mike Tyson came over and embraced Teddy Atlas, said, I hope you're not mad at me any longer. For those who know the story, and I think all boxing fans do, 2 men who haven't spoken since the mid-1980s. Mike Tyson will join Todd Grisham at the conclusion of this fight for a live interview, and Todd will ask him, why now? The decision to come over and ask for forgiveness. We'll hear from Mike Tyson. Marrero utilizing that jab early on here in round 3. Got free swinging at the end of round 2, both guys.
Well, you see the defensive-minded fighter, the guy who, as we talked about in the setup, can perform like a champion. Marrero's the better defensive guy, a little slicker, looks to make you miss a little bit. Cuellar's the guy, well, he wants to go get you. And there's opportunities when Cuellar's going to get you where you can punch in between some of those wide get-you punches. And there's notice those wide punches from Cuellar. Marrero didn't do his job. He didn't punch in between. You know, you look to create offense. Usually when you're in there, if you're Marrero, you're looking, how am I going to create offense? I'm going to use my jab to set it up. What am I going to do? With a guy like Marrero, a guy like Cuellar in front of you, Joe, you don't have to look to really create the offense. Cuellar creates it for you. You know, he comes right at you, he forces you to punch, and he leaves himself open. Although right there, Marrero was doing an imitation of Cuellar.
Seriously, just windmilling with that shot.
You know, you don't have to say, okay, I'm going to use my jab, I'm going to feint a little bit, I'm going to go downstairs, then upstairs. Well, when you're fighting Cuellar, he's coming at you. All you have to do is punch in between those shots.
Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas with you here at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino in Verona, New York. Good night of action. Started off with Cuellar and Marrero here, working our way towards the world title fight coming up. IBF 130-pound title between Arash Usmani and Argenis Mendez. This is the WBA interim title on the line here at 126 pounds. Of course, a division that has Chris John sitting atop of it at 48-0-3, the Indonesian great who's been wrapping up that title for many, many years now, going back to 2003.
The slicker, if I may, maybe the most sophisticated guy here, I think most would agree with me, is Marrero. That doesn't mean he's going to be the winner at the end of the night and still be undefeated, but he's the guy who, he tends to defense. You know, he looks to make you miss, looks to counterpunch, looks to do that as we speak of it. And Cuellar, one-dimensional, doesn't look to do any of that stuff. Just looks to do that. Get in your kitchen.
Stop punching.
Really is going to be simply about the physicality, the mental toughness of Cuellar, and the better hand speed and, you know, the better polish of Marrero. Which is going to win?
Teddy Atlas's card, as we're a minute and a half here into round number 4, 29-29 through 3. Remember, you at home can join in on Facebook. Click on the live scoring of Friday Night Fights page and jump in at any point at the end of each round. Don't have to stay with us all night. You can jump in, score as much as you want, see how you match up with Teddy and the judges.
Well, right now, matching up, Cuellar, again, the less sophisticated guy, doing pretty good. You know, he's just walking in and he's cavemaning Marrero a little bit.
Sometimes it works in this game.
Yes, it does, especially when a guy like Marrero sometimes goes defensive too much. If he moves his hands a little bit more before Marrero, or before Cuellar gets into his kitchen, he wouldn't have to deal with all those wide swings. You know, head movement is great, but sometimes throwing punches is great too. You know, sometimes your offense can take care of your defense. You throw first with a guy like Cuellar, who's just walking in, but then you don't have to move your head, and you don't have anything coming at you. But if you move your head first sometimes, you allow a guy, a tough guy like Cuellar, and a pretty physical guy, to come in and take shots at you. He's taking shots right now.
End of 4, chance to check in with Todd Grisham. Todd?
Thank you, Joe. Still to come tonight, Arash Usmani in our main event. He only has 1 loss on his record, and nearly everyone but the 3 judges that saw that fight feel he should still be undefeated. That said, Usmani is the underdog in his first title bout tonight, but he is intimidated by no man.
Anytime I step in a ring or in any room, I'm the toughest person I know. That's gonna overwhelm anybody, and that's what we're gonna use.
So still to come tonight in our main event, Arash Usmani and Argenis Mendez for the IBF title.
Thank you, Todd. Arash Usmani, who grew up in Afghanistan among the horrors of war. When he was 6 years old, his father's life was taken, a Soviet bomb tearing his family apart. His father was an Afghan National Army recruit, lost several relatives in civil wars and conflicts within Afghanistan, ended up moving to Canada and then eventually to Las Vegas. And now at 31 years old, Arash Usmani gets a shot at the IBF junior lightweight belt. That'll go on later tonight against Argenis Mendez. And Todd, of course, will have his sit down live with Mike Tyson at the conclusion of this bout. 12 rounds here between Cuellar and Marrero. If you're just joining us, before we went on the air, Mike Tyson, who's the promoter here tonight, first time he's promoting a card, he came over and embraced Teddy Atlas and asked for forgiveness, saying, "Are you still mad at me?" And trying to bridge a gap in a relationship of two men who started off in the 1980s and haven't spoken since, with a well-documented departure back in Catskill, New York. So that's still to come. Round number 5 here of our co-feature.
And still to come is the man in red, Cuellar. And that's what he does. He comes, walks forward. Right there, he did a good little piece of allowing Marrero to walk forward and catching him walking forward. If I'm in the corner of Cuellar, you know, he's going to do what he does. I mean, he's not the most polished guy. He's a tough guy. He's going to walk in. He's going to try to be physical and catch you. Probably with something a little bit wide. But I'd be telling Cuellar, direct some of those punches downstairs with Marrero, because he likes to use his legs, Marrero. And if you realize that, you recognize that early on, you have a chance to change the course of the fight. Take some air out of the tires and make it harder for Marrero to get away from you. Little warning by the ref there. Punching behind the head. I don't know if you can blame Cuellar.
Yeah, I mean, the position of how they were turned there, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the most accurate guy in the world, Cuellar. He throws his punches, you know, kind of like shooting a shotgun. You know, that's pellets. They go all over the place. But Marrero turned his head, turned his body, and he does that quite a bit. Again, great opportunities for me. Marrero's moving his legs too much. He should do that. Sometimes just stand his ground. And I suggested it early in this fight. Allow Cuellar to do some of his work for him, to walk into punches. Time him coming in.
Good action right to the bell here. Joe and Teddy with you from Turning Stone Resort Casino in Verona, New York. Good styles in here early on. Round 6 scheduled for 12 between Cuellar and the undefeated Claudio Marrero.
You know, I'm really curious. I mean, this fight has tweaked my curiosity a little bit too, because quite honestly, I thought Marrero would maybe have his way with Cuellar.
I did too, Teddy. I thought he was
not the case.
Overwhelming favorite to handle him.
And just the physicality, the aggression, the toughness of Cuellar has kept him in this fight. Maybe more than kept him in this fight, but made it maybe much more interesting than Marrero and his people ever expected it to be. I mean, to a certain extent, Cuellar getting away with things, getting away with coming in with those big looping shots, but doesn't matter. He is getting away with it, and he's having some success with it. But coupled with, and here you see, once he gets in that kitchen, you know, again, I love defense. But to me, Marrero, busy making defensive moves, and he's allowing Cuellar to move his hands. Where if he punched in the right spots, Cuellar would not be throwing those shots. Offense sometimes has to take place over defense.
Sent him through the ropes.
See, in the mind of Marrero, he doesn't think this is justified.
7.
Being ruled a knockdown.
Come towards me. Show me that you're all
I
right.
can see why the
Okay, you wanna go on?
referee
Go.
scored it a knockdown. He's on the ropes. He's making moves. Cuellar's punching. He goes through the ropes. But in the mind of Marrero, he thinks he was treated improperly. He was making moves. He was a little bit out of position. He lost some of his balance. And he went through the ropes. But he put himself...
Oh, there's a left hand, sweeping left hand that comes in.
Marrero keeps putting himself in tenuous positions, bad positions. Again, making too many defensive moves, going on the ropes too often, and letting a plain, simple, tough, physical guy to do what he can do.
And Marrero tries to come back, just stopping and popping with that right hand, but just that aggression and commitment by Cuellar paying off here in round 6.
Yeah, he's winging.
He sure is, and he scored with another headshot in the mix there.
And again, one-dimensional, a little bit of a caveman, all the things, I stand by him. Work, and right there you saw Marrero go down to a knee to try to get out of that position.
Jesus Cuellar, his U.S. debut. The Argentinian off to a good start here. Scored the knockdown in round 6.
Early in the round, you see Cuellar connect with a wide looping right hand, but the left hand is down of Marrero and the right hand gets through. Now, towards the end of the round, on the ropes, you know what? Marrero has a good argument. These punches not really landing. We cut out a little early there. I wish we would have stayed a second longer and saw the end of that. But what happened there was Marrero goes through the ropes. Didn't really get caught, Joe. Those punches were glancing punches. They were missing punches. But he put himself in bad position, bad balance, went through the ropes. I don't think it was a knockdown, but I could see why the referee named it.
There was not one single punch that hurt him. There was not one single punch that put him down. But Cuellar was throwing punches, touching him, and he ended up going through the ropes, and this is the game of boxing. It's going to go that way.
And the game right now is being played. Marrero's playing Cuellar's game. Marrero's right in the kitchen.
Rugged and ugly.
Yep.
Oh, he just got hit with a left hand, though. And now a right uppercut as Marrero swinging away.
Well, Marrero's punches a little bit shorter, a little more refined, and a little faster.
Fun to watch here.
Put your heads in there.
So is Marrero playing the game of Cuellar by being in close where Cuellar has to be to win? The only place Cuellar has a chance, or is Marrero understanding that he can win that game? Right now, he's understanding he can win that game.
And he's winning it.
Yeah, he's in the geography. Yeah, he's in the territory that's the best for Cuellar. But because he's quicker and a little shorter, he can have his way there.
Off balance as he heads back to the corner. And will need to be separated. Been a rugged and wild first 2 minutes of the 7th round. Reaching in that time with the right hand and scoring, and then another right hand and a 4-punch combination with headshots.
I'm starting to wonder about the condition. Not just the defensive lapses of Marrero keeping his hands out, but the condition of Marrero looks to me like Cuellar has more in the tank.
No defense to be found. They're fighting on heart, swinging back and forth. And the crowd now giving him a standing ovation here with still a half minute to go in round number 7.
Let him go. Step out.
Look, this is a test of the heart and the will of both fighters, but it's also a test of the judges in this fight. The judges are going to have to really be on their P's and Q's to be looking not just at the action, who's landing in this action, who's really landing the telling punches.
Hands down around their hips, looking for one last opportunity.
Quick. Step back. Bell.
See them tending to Claudio Marrero, the 14-0, 11 knockout prospect, going up against a rugged, tough, and determined Argentinian Jesus Cuellar. What a wild 7th round that was, as Cuellar was hurt early, but then rallied late.
Terrific fight, terrific action, but not the quality that I was expecting, at least from Marrero. Not surprised with Cuellar, just a tough, rugged, go-get-you kind of guy. But Marrero expecting a little bit more than what we've seen. A guy who's had a lot of deficiencies in his game, especially on the defensive side. Hands down, making too many moves, and paying a price for both those deficiencies, for having the hands down and making too many moves. A lot of work, no matter whether Marrero goes to 15-0 or drops to 14-1. A lot of work for the people behind the career in the gym to do on Marrero. Makes you wonder about some of these ratings. I look at the ratings, Marrero, WBA #2. I look, Cuellar, WBA #4. You know, you look at these ratings and you sometimes say, wow, what are they rating on?
Right.
You know, and then makes me say, when are we going to get some consistent, real, viable, credible ratings committees? And I think there's one out there that we're missing the boat by not using them. Transnational Boxing Ratings, which is headed up by a writer, Springs Toledo, and really a group of national and international writers that have no biases. I mean, they have no agendas. They call it the way it is, and they rate it the way it is. I really think we should start using and looking somewhere, and that's a place we should look. Transnational Boxing Ratings, not WBA, not WBC, not IBF, not WBO, and definitely not Ring Magazine. I mean, come on, the ratings by Ring Magazine, did anybody take notice that Ring Magazine is owned by a promoter?
But do you feel that that's affected the ratings?
But, well, it's a conflict of interest.
It is a conflict of interest, no doubt, but when you look at the ratings, do you feel that they're off base?
I think all those ratings are off base. And I don't want a magazine telling me what fighters should be rated where, when that magazine is headed up by a promoter who has an interest in some of those fighters being rated. Slow down a little bit, the pace here. I think that favors Marrero, because I just don't think he's in as good a shape as Cuellar. If I was in the corner of Cuellar, I would have kept the gas, you know, the pedal down.
Break. Step out. Stop.
Good-looking opener here on the season finale of Friday Night Fights between Jesus Cuellar and Claudio Marrero. Reminder that we have the IBF Junior Lightweight title fight coming your way. Arash Usmani, Argenis Mendez. We already told you the story of Usmani, improbable finish to his year as he was robbed in a controversial decision loss to start the Friday Night Fight season. He looks to wrap it up with a chance to win a world title. That's coming up as Mendez will be in action. Same ropes in which Marrero got in trouble with earlier in round number 6 when it was ruled a knockdown. Here it's simply a push and a slip, says Dick Pecosdi.
Those ropes a little loose, and one of the reasons for it, the little piece of rope that has Turning Stone Casino on it, Joe, that is supposed to hold the ropes together. It's not placed properly.
Marrero's throwing some big shots as he goes backwards. There's a cut around the right eye, I believe. I'm seeing the blood on Marrero. I'm also seeing some of it spread across my notes in front of me.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You know, we asked the question. This could be very interesting. Marrero, I read his quote early, Joe. He said that he's never been cut. I will never be cut on the Matrix. And I asked the question, well, what happens if he does get cut? We're about to find out.
Yep, it's the right eye, and it's pretty significant, Teddy.
Yeah, and, you know, how does he act now when he gets back to that corner? After having that almost arrogant, you know, sort of stance that I'll never be cut. I never have to worry about that. Well, you got to worry about it now. I'm wondering how it's going to affect him in this fight.
They fight through it as Marrero was looking to the referee on that last punch that came towards the back of the head. And you can see some frustration from Marrero now, just having to deal with Cuellar all night long. Good combination, he sends him back. It was a left hand that sent him back at the end of that.
Well, so many things that really Marrero wasn't prepared for. He wasn't prepared for this kind of contact, wasn't prepared to get cut. You know, wasn't prepared for a guy like Cuellar to just walk to him all night and keep swinging.
Florida-based unbeaten prospect from the Dominican Republic as it stands now unbeaten. But just look at the body language here in these final moments of the 9th round as Cuellar keeps coming and coming.
Marrero goes straight back, you can go with him. He throws punches with his hands down. You can do that. You can catch him.
More headshots raining in on Marrero.
You want to know how that cut came about? Well, here it is. Marrero coming in with his head. You know, that's just bad technique. His upper body is ahead of his lower body as he's throwing a punch. The punch should be there first, not the head. The head of Marrero was there first. The punch was second. He comes away with the first cut of his career. We're going to see how he handles that now.
Cut is one thing, and then the way his legs looked at the end of that 9th round is another thing as we begin round number 10, scheduled for 12.
Yeah, it's been raining. Bad weather for Marrero.
No doubt.
He's looking for an umbrella. They don't have him in the ring.
That's a knock. No, they're ruling that a slip. Costi earlier tonight ruled a knockdown in circumstances against the ropes.
Marrero does a lot of damage to himself, just like he got that knockdown scored earlier in the night on the ropes. You know, putting himself on the ropes, getting himself out of position. He's awkward. He hopes he's awkwardly clever, but sometimes he's just awkward and out of position with his hands down, and he's paid a price for that.
Marrero just landed a left hand against that cut. This being termed a WBA interim title fight as each man trying to get themselves into even better position at 126 pounds. And a world title fight, IBF world title fight at 130 pounds will be coming your way. And in just moments, we're going to hear from Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion of the world, who's the promoter of Record tonight in upstate New York. Standing by is going to talk to Todd Grisham, and undoubtedly, first question Todd's going to ask him are the circumstances just 1 minute before we went on air when he came over, hugged and embraced Teddy Atlas, and we're going to mend that relationship earlier tonight. And really, for those of us that work in this industry, and Teddy, I'll just say it now, we'll talk more about this later tonight. I mean, I was stunned and I was catching my breath. As a friend and as a colleague, I think we all know the circumstances as to why you and Mike haven't spoken since the mid-1980s. A guy who went on to make millions upon millions, and because of the man you are and the stance that you took, you stepped away from that relationship. It's well documented why that happened, and he came over to you before we went on the air and said, I hope you're not mad at me any longer. Is there anything else you can share with us about what happened ringside before we hear from Mike in moments?
No, that's it. It takes a man to, under those circumstances, to come over and put his hand out, so
we'll hear from Mike in moments.
I appreciated that.
As, this fight has been really entertaining. Marrero and Cuellar.
Better round for Marrero. Every time Cuellar takes his foot off the gas, Marrero gets himself a chance to steady the ship a little.
He sure did in this round. That's the cut that they're tending to above the right eye of the unbeaten Claudio Marrero, that the commission here is ruling was caused by a punch. Obviously, we've showed you the replay. It's clear as day that it was caused by a clash of heads, but it goes in the books as being caused by a punch. So with just over 5.5 minutes to fight, that's in the record books if it was to be stopped that way. Be a TKO victory for Jesus Cuellar. Marrero's looking to maintain his unbeaten mark here, but Cuellar rugged, aggressive, has had some big moments, scored the knockdown in round number 6.
If it did go in the record book, as you just said, it would be a mistake. And that's why you just wonder why these commissions, why boxing on the whole doesn't use the technology when it's available. I mean, you got a television production crew doing your fight on national TV. Take advantage of it. If you're not sure whether or not it was a headbutt or a punch, go look at the videotape.
Mike Mazzulli at Mohegan Sun, Connecticut did that earlier this year. Remember, Teddy?
Yes, he did.
Overruled a
And that's what
fight
you should do. I mean, you don't, it doesn't really take Einstein really to figure that out. I mean, you have TV cameras there. Use them. You know, you're not sure. You want to get it right? Well, there's one way to get it right. Go look at the video. And it doesn't take long. Look at it in between rounds. And even if you already made the judgment, so what? Go correct it.
Moments that have been really tough to score here tonight. And then you got that knockdown in the 6th round. You got that wild 7th round where Cuellar was hurt early but rallied back, and Marrero was taking. And then a huge round in the 9th round by Cuellar.
Look, the style of Cuellar, I called him a caveman, you know, in a very endearing way.
Undoubtedly.
If it's possible to call someone a caveman in an endearing way. But I did. Coming forward, being a tough son of a gun, just throwing punches. But his style is really relied on pressure. Full speed ahead pressure. And every time he slows down, that style is not service. That style is exploited, taken advantage of. When he slows down, Marrero, being a little slicker, a little cute on the outside, can have his way. And it's played out that way.
He's trained by Robert Garcia, the 2012 Trainer of the Year, who's got top-level guys like Donaire and his brother Mikey and Brandon Rios, who will be fighting Pacquiao. He's a little more rugged than most of the crew that comes out of Garcia's camp.
Again, every time you get a guy like Cuellar whose skills aren't that polished, he lays back, he takes a chance of losing a round.
We will see how this plays out here between Cuellar and Marrero in the 12th and final round, as Marrero came in with a lot of hype, the 24-year-old good-looking prospect from the Dominican Republic, 14-0. Cuellar making his U.S. debut, 22-1, fighter from Argentina. Not as polished, rugged, aggressive, but it's paid off so far tonight.
And for those fighters at home that like to keep their hands down, just watch this fight. And you see a good reason not to. Marrero's paid a price for being undisciplined with those hand placements.
Turns back for a moment, caught him with a left-handed Marrero.
See, the key for Marrero is arms a little longer, a little quicker, his hands. Problem is he keeps his hands low and he allows Cuellar to get close before Marrero can get those hands off. By keeping them low, forget about the defense, but it really disrupts his offense, Marrero, because he doesn't have them in chamber, in punching chamber. So by the time he gets them off, Cuellar's already crossed that line and gotten into him a little bit.
Marrero chasing back, and he slipped in that blue corner.
The advantage for Marrero, and he hasn't used it enough, is right here, to punch. Keep those hands up a little bit, not even for defense, just so he can get those shots off before that happens. Before Cuellar closes real estate on you. You find a guy like Cuellar, you want to punch when he's on the outside. Catch him out there, and then catch him on the way in. Make him pay a price for the real estate that he's trying to eat up. Right now, Cuellar not really landing, but he's not paying a price as he closes that real estate. You know, Joe, Cuellar just being allowed to walk in spots.
Let him go. Don't punch.
And now he doesn't even have to walk in. He's got Marrero, who's a little desperate now, falling forward at him.
There's a left hand that landed flush.
Yeah, those opportunities are always there. Always there.
Now he chases him back. throwing rights and lefts. Oh, it's going to be a good final half minute here if they keep up that kind of pace. Let's see if they get after it here, Teddy.
Oh, Cuellar's hurt.
Yep, there's
Cuellar's
blood there. And then he thuds him with a right hand as they go on an exchange against those ropes near the red corner. Last 15 seconds.
I mean, what a slugfest.
It really is.
And again, Cuellar just throwing. Marrero a little quicker, a little shorter. But he hasn't really used that advantage enough. Now the interesting part. Who's it go to?
Did Cuellar pull it off? Can Marrero stay unbeaten? Remember, there was a knockdown scored for Cuellar in round number 6, and he had that huge 9th round. Gonna be interesting to see. Good fight, wildly entertaining. The season finale of Friday Night Fights, and it started with this guy, Mike Tyson, coming over and embracing Teddy Atlas. We'll talk about that right after the decision. ESPN Friday Night Fights presented by Corona Extra is brought to you by Energizer Ultimate Lithium. That's positive energy. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas, glad you're with us here at the Turning Stone Resort Casino in upstate New York. Great start to the night with our 12-round featherweight bout for the WBA interim title. Jesus Cuellar and Claudio Marrero. Marrero came in unbeaten. Some tough rounds to score there, even with the knockdown in the 6th round, the huge round in the 9th. Teddy saw it that way. Facebook sees it this way, 11-1.
Well, I don't see it 11-1, but I could see Cuellar winning the fight. I'd have no argument at all seeing that. I could understand it. Not an easy fight to score because of all the rough tactics,
Agreed.
all the little bit of sloppiness in spots, even though there was great action. But 11-1, gee, I don't know.
Sometimes reckless aggression does pay off. Let's see if that's the case tonight. And he got it here and handed Marrero his first loss. For that, we go up to Bob Alexander. Apologize for the audio difficulties with Bob Alexander.
Check, check. Ladies and gentlemen, from the event center at the Turning Stone Resort Casino in Verona, New York. After 12 rounds of championship boxing, we go to the scorecards. Judge Don Ackerman scores the bout 115-112. Judge Tom Schreck scores the bout 114-113. Judge Wynn Kent scores the bout 116-111. For the winner by unanimous decision, Jesus Cuellar.
Cuellar did it. Marrero's first loss. He falls to 14-1.
I have no problem with that decision. I had it 115-113 the other way. Could easily have it 115-113 or somewhere around there, close the other way. So very difficult rounds in spots to differentiate from, but 11-1, you guys at home. Well, you must be having a good time. That's all I can tell you.
Look at the